Peace, everybody. How is everybody doing this morning, this afternoon, however, wherever this video reach you this evening, whatever. I'm the Hood Mystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com. Today's daily energy reading is titled "You Get Exactly What You Want." Like I said yesterday, part one was you have to know exactly what you want, because the reality is that you get exactly what you want, and the idea is to focus and be clear on exactly what you want, obviously. And so different modalities, different forms of spirituality, forms of consciousness really open you up to the magic that exists in you. And the reality is, if you're doing it right, if you're getting what you want. You're doing something wrong if the manifestations are that, either you're not getting manifestations, or the manifestations are very abstract, they're not what you actually want. And the reality, I have to do more, or I have to do something different, and kind of speak into the changes of the celestial orders and worlds. It can kind of help you with changing your energy. So today I'm going to speak about some astrology in the aspect of what is presenting and the various things that is presenting presently. We've been dealing with astrology almost daily now since July, and we're continuing that theme. Some particular astrological concepts have been brought up before. A majority of these concepts are new, so it's very important to enter each day with an understanding of the celestial combinations and transits and things of that nature, not as a form of control, but as a form of understanding. The idea that we're working with the daily energy readings is that of the weather report. We're not telling you that it's gonna snow to oppress you. We're not telling you it's gonna rain to make you sad. We're just trying to share some information on the probabilities of what could happen so you can be prepared. Maybe you want to step outside with an umbrella. Maybe you want to set some salt out so you don't be slipping and sliding like a lot of people were this morning in Columbus, Ohio. So I just say that to say, for people who've never listened to my channel, wonder what the hell is going on, what the hell am I talking about, that within a nutshell is what we're discussing today. So let's just get into it. Today is Thursday, so today is ruled by Jupiter, so we'll take a closer look at Jupiter and what it's actually doing in its aspects to the other planets. We have Jupiter at the 18-degree mark of Sagittarius in Western astrology. Jupiter is in Ophiuchus in sidereal astrology, and ultimately, the training wheels are coming off. So where are we and how are we developing our, how are we accessing our spirituality in real life? It's very easy for you to go to the store and buy you some tarot cards, get you an ankh, get you some cowrie shells, get you a dashiki, and walk around, do the same shit you've been doing, but the only difference is, where you would just worry about the partners that you was dealing with, you'll just pull cards on them, or pull cards on your family, or, do a meditation and do all of this aesthetic shit. My goal, or my purpose is, what is the purpose of all of this aesthetic shit that the conscious community is doing? Because when tested by mainstream media and things of this nature, people just look like buffoons. They just look crazy because they're saying a whole bunch of rhetoric that they read in books. But what is the actual application in your life? Where is the growth? Where is the understanding? Where is the wisdom? So Jupiter at 18 degrees speaks about protection, protectiveness. Protectiveness, not protection, but protectiveness in the sense of overprotectiveness or underprotectiveness. And there's a light side and dark side to this aspect, where you could be overprotected and block yourself off from reality, or you could be not protected at all and leaving yourself vulnerable to psychic attacks and psychic vampires also, because you're just so open, because such and such has such of a wonderful diction, wonderful dashiki, knows all about, ooh, she gets channels and things of that nature. And it feels good listening to them, being by them. But then it's like, you know, what are we going to do about the groceries? It's like, okay, let's meditate on it. Like, no. And you may not see this because you're trapped into the idea of culture and not into the idea of occult. See, culture within itself is a limit to your behaviors and your actions, whether you're considering yourself a child of the hip hop culture, which only simply propagates European manufacturing and European design. It ain't like hip hop support African American designers. Every fucking rap song is Gucci this, Louis Vuitton that. So I'm not a part of that culture. African American culture, African culture, Chinese culture, white culture, astrology culture, consciousness as a culture. Like if in the scientific term, to get a culture is a small little speck of skin or DNA that they need, meaning that your culture, and then they can make vast assumptions based upon a small culture. The reality is to get out of culture and develop consciousness and develop an interpersonal behavior that serves a collective. This is life. Society is not life. Society is just a simple incubator for born into a house, die in a house. To get out into the world and to actually live requires community, and that's the part that the conscious community, quote unquote, is missing, because there is no such thing as community. For you to throw an event and to charge people $50 a head is not an idea of community. That's an idea of a hustle, and you could have remained a party promoter, my nigga. So consciousness and where it leads is community, but the conscious community is not a community. Therefore, because it's based and steeped in culture, and culture is limiting. When I walk into the building, if I don't say Hotep or greetings or grand rising, you looking at me differently. Well, in the conscious community, we don't say grand rising, or we don't say good morning, we say grand risings. Okay. So you limit my expression by how I could greet you and things of that nature. So something really to be mindful about as Jupiter really sits on this 18th degree mark of Sagittarius is, are you identifying with your culture or your occult? Because you can't identify with both. I know a lot of people want to be hip hop occultist and shit like that, but it's like, you know, putting a diamond into a swamp and then expect you to flourish and shine when you're submerged in swampy ass water. But they told you that the swamp was good, or whatever the case may be. So let's move forward. And another aspect that we talked about before is Neptune at the 14th degree of Pisces. In sidereal, Neptune is in Aquarius. And this is square spiritual protection. And to me, this is, do you even know what spiritual protection is? Do you think that spiritual protection is you doing a protection ritual as if to, you know, give yourself a spiritual bulletproof vest? Meaning that you can do all of the same shit that you've been doing, but since you did a protection spell, you're protected. That to me doesn't make sense. The idea of spiritual protection with the influence of Neptune to me represents clarity, and through that clarity you develop intuition of knowing where to be, how to be, why to be, what to be in every moment because you're clear. But then it's like, you know, I had a real bad breakup, or, you know, such and such happened, and this, that, and the third happened. But it's like, we still are in the moment. I don't give, like, any form of trauma that you've experienced really pairs into the comparison to the trauma that you've experienced that you haven't even realized or even know about, because trauma is non-local. Trauma permeates and reverberates throughout society. You walk outside and breathe the air, my nigga, you're breathing in trauma. So it's not about your personal life. It's about a full-on, no holds barred attempt to establish and gain clarity in your life, regardless of what you've been through. Because you're in the moment. And if you're not in the moment, you're stuck in the past. And if you stay there long enough, you're legally classified as dead already. Because you refuse to deal with the moment, and the moment is all we have. And within that moment, you have always an initiative. You always could develop initiative to love, to respect, to enjoy, to make love, to understand tantric arts and tantric thoughts. Things of that nature. Which is kind of the picture that I have as the cover art. And this deity's name is Vajradhara, Vajradhara. And if you are a notes member, I have a link which kind of encapsulates all of his energy and understanding all of his energy. So Monday or Tuesday, my first video, I explained that I was going to really get into the Buddha, and the realization of the Buddha is really connecting with his lover. Vajradhara is the primordial Buddha, and the primordial Buddha, he is the full-on consciousness of the world based upon Hindu thought and perspective. Very indestructible, very primordial, very much of a creative energy. And it's a light or a wisdom or an enlightenment that's indestructible, and it's a power that we all have. But the problem is claiming it, wielding it, using it, being in this space of indestructibility. You can't be in the place of indestructibility and awakening and be afraid, because you got to test this shit out in the real world. It's good to read. It's good to absorb knowledge. But if that knowledge is not applied in real life, is useless. And consciousness, it feels good. Listening to people discuss consciousness, it feels good, but within itself, it's as bad as anything on the planet, because you do nothing with it. So consciousness should never really be in the form of entertainment and things of that nature. It should be, I've learned something, now I'm ready to apply it. This is like science and real world application, being on your job at all times, learning, experiencing, and things of that nature. And it works well with this energy because Jupiter is trine Mars. Mars is sitting at the 15 degrees of Aries, and in sidereal astrology, it is located in Pisces. And it works well with this energy because it gives you exactly what you want based upon your action. It's a very distinct and easy formula that shows up as I was speaking of. Action and desire are equally on the same in the same space. Like they cannot be separated from each other. Action is desire. Desire can be found within experience. And then you might have a question of, how do I bring desire in my life? How do I get what I want exactly? Like, I'm not really getting exactly what I want. I hear you. It makes sense. But the reality is that I'm not getting what I want. So how do I establish this for myself? Well, based on the definition, you're to use, the keyword here is diligence. A quiet persistence of the acquisition of your soul, as opposed to a dull routine that establishes a fake security. I gotta go to work so I can make sure that my kids eat. Your kids is gonna eat regardless. You'll figure it out. It's amazing what you can do when you're like really focused on something and really like giving yourself a chance. Like, you'll figure it out. But that fear of, I gotta go to work, I gotta stay with him because he paying the bills right now, and if he don't pay the bills, then I'm gonna be struggling and homeless. Well, maybe, but not forever. And the idea is to acquire your soul, and you cannot acquire your soul in situations that don't enlighten you. Relationships, career, life in general. Vajradhara is the deity of Tantra. You really need to understand tantric outside of the idea of sex. Now, the woman sitting on his lap is more of an imaginary, figurative idea. And the placement of his hands, which are on his lap, palms up, like he cupping that booty, but he's really meditating. And he's meditating so hard on his heart that it is creating a goddess before him. And from that point, it's like he's like in that space of true love. Like, he's meditated on himself so much that it's actually created a woman or a consort. And this is Tantra. You can do it with a partner, but it's real good when you do it by yourself, because nothing is distracting you from your visualization. And the lover that you truly desire is within your heart anyway. Anybody that's in front of you is just a cheap replacement for the love that you have in your heart, for the goddess that rests inside of your heart. Or the god, however you imagine your primordial lover that exists with you at all times. It's not a human being. It's primordial. It's your soul. And the acquisition of your soul is really going to free you and enlighten you. And it's not the acquisition of small little monies and things of that nature. So finally, astrologically, we're going to discuss the square to the moon, which resides in the third decan of Virgo. It's actually in sidereal Leo presently, and it actually ties into our card of the day. Since the moon being at the third decan of Virgo, we look at the card that is associated with the third decan of Virgo, and that card is the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Discs. And the Ten of Discs, in the Thoth Tarot deck, it is even this card, you can see that there are gold coins and they're positioned in the same diagram as the Tree of Life. But the idea that you want to work with is that the diagram is the Tree of Life, but the symbols or the items that they use to map out the tree of life are gold coins. So the gold coins in the tree of life are a fundamental idea to success that maybe goes over a lot of people's head. So your inner wealth is your outer wealth, because if you are to, you can tell me that you've activated every chakra in your being and you focused on your esoteric makeup and you broke and you struggling, or you're not really dealing with your inner wealth and you're trying to focus on your outer wealth. You're trying to figure out where the gold coins at or in the external world, and you're just kind of scratching your head at this point. But the 10 of this is a simple understanding that the wealth is found within your enlightenment, and it's not for just an aesthetic, vain, oh, look at me, I look good because I'm woke. Oh no, I've been using cocoa butter on my skin now. Look how clear my skin is. Oh, we don't wear weave no more. We wear locks. We wear dreads because we woke. Anything that you can think of. Oh, we don't be doing the man-woman thing no more. We do the polygamy thing because we woke. You know, my life has changed now because we woke. Let me borrow $5. Hey man, I'm woke. You know, we don't got no money. We don't work in this white man system. We sit here and meditate and read books. And my thing is, that shit ain't gonna get you niggas nowhere. You still live on Earth. You still live here. You still have to figure it out. And you don't have to struggle with money. You don't have to struggle with finances if you can understand yourself and the diagram of yourself and the understanding of your esoteric world and your auric body and things of that nature, and fully understanding yourself from within. Knowing yourself, there is no space for lack. And so I just want to kind of do a review or a recap, or kind of back up and try to point out some of the things that I said, because maybe I said a lot of different things and maybe you kind of lost on where I'm at. So the idea is what is blocking you from overall success. Now, I know a lot of y'all is already rich. So me, the fact of saying success and getting money, you feel like I'm like, no. But success and rich and wealth is not based upon financial monies, because y'all already got that. And a lot of people already got that, but they still searching for something more. They're still trying to figure out, like, I thought that everything was about money. I thought that everything was about being a wife. I thought that everything was about taking care of my family, but I am still empty. Okay? And the idea is to get more into your creative mind, because your creative mind is your soul mind, and your competitive mind is a mind that is kind of like your retarded mind. We used to call them LD. You got a learning disability. You're always competing with people. You're always looking at what other people are doing and comparing it to the shit that you doing, as if it matters, as if you don't have way more within you to cultivate and bring to the light, based upon you focusing on your creative mind and your successful mind. Like, I have friends and things of that nature. Like, you know, I have people that I like and people that I talk to, and I might go have a drink with a person from time to time, but not that much, because I spend a majority of my time in the creative mind and cultivating a life for myself outside of the life that I see, based upon working with my energy. So I really like doing that shit though. And I don't like coming back down to earth and having regular conversations. It's really much of a pull and a drag on my energy to talk to people about, you know, a world that don't even really exist no more. Like, it used to be shopping centers and malls when I was growing up and things of that nature. That shit is done. Like, that shit look like, and they ain't even replaced the malls. Like, the malls is just still there, just dilapidated and just toe up. And it's like, you know, I'm just trying to get this money and, you know, all right, how we gonna create these revenue streams? Crickets. Okay, I'll talk to you later. It was nice having a drink with you. But more, it's like, it's so much within me that needs to come out and that needs to be creative. Like, I need people that's trying to create on that level, and you might not need that, but I'm just speaking on me and dealing with the creative mind versus the competitive mind, because ultimately anything outside of creativity is competitive in a certain aspect, idea, level, or understanding. Somewhere, some form or another, you're competing because the idea is that there is not enough. I don't have enough, I need more, and I don't know what to do about it because I just need more. Or I need to be better than him, or I need to be better than her. Damn, she got a lot of followers. Damn, he got a lot of followers. It don't really matter, because you're going to have a lot of followers too, but we need you to come out with that information. We need you to come up with your videos, your content, or whatever the case, your podcast, your CD, whatever. There's enough space for creativity. You have it's billions of people on this earth. If you deal with, you know, a percentage of the population, then you're dealing with a multitude of people. Regardless, because there's billions of people on the earth, and you just need to figure out where your creative energy lies outside of your competitive energy. So your competitive mind is a place from which most of the daily life and that of those around you operates. It is the mentality that the resources are scarce, times are tough, and there must be winners and losers. It leads to a natural sense of distrust and inherent competition in everything we think or do. How do you get out of this though? You got to really think about other people and helping people. Like, man, it's very like, man, like, dog, like, man, like, shit. Like, it's so many, like, you can help people. Like, but you can't help people if you constantly thinking about you. Or helping people for your own vain reasons, for everybody to look at you like, oh shit, like, you know, that nigga is that nigga. He be really helping people. Like, you know, look at me. I'm the helper out here. So my thing is, you shouldn't think of it in that way. Like, I help people and deal with people on a level where, like, it's multitudes of people at this point, but I don't even speak on that shit. I'm just pushing on, doing what I've been doing and whatever the case may be. But I know that I got a lot of people that I've helped. So in that space, based upon Zig Ziglar, I don't necessarily have to worry about shit, because in my actual daily, everyday life, I'm out here helping people. And I'm out here doing the work and helping myself, loving myself, taking care of my family, you know, make sure my wife is good, make sure my kids is good, make sure I'm good. Like, you know, people hit me up on the message or whatever. It's just like, you know, whatever, I got you. Or maybe I can't do it right now, but I got you in the future, or whatever the case may be. But, you know, it's all about opening yourself up to your creativity. And the creativity that I've, you know, developed has actually been the medium for which I'm helping people. And that's just my example of the difference between creativity and competitive. Like, the reality is, like, I ain't really sitting here worried about what another person is doing on their channel or with their life. Like, especially on YouTube, it's like, I'll be on YouTube and I was like, Chris Brown or R. Kelly or, you know, somebody else. Like, everybody is so important. And I'm like, damn, like, everybody obviously is paying attention to stars. But my thing is, which stars are y'all really paying attention to at this point? Like celebrities and things of that nature hold no value when you understand that they're a representation or a symbol for a higher, deeper, uh, a more advanced correspondence to celestial actual stars that permeate the night sky, and not a person dancing and singing on stage, which is lovely and wonderful, but it gets much deeper. So how do y'all feel about what I said? Any questions on what I just said? I don't know. And as always, the notes are located within the notes of this video. So I would like to hear some questions or anything to the light. Thank you. Okay, if you email me, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check my notes again, cause let me just check. I'm gonna go through my emails when I get off this live, and if you email me yesterday, I'll make sure to add you. I wasn't like completely on my notes. Been having a busy like been doing a lot yesterday and then into this morning, so I ain't forgot about y'all. I mean, I'm not like working with people that oppose you. It depends. Like, what is the why are they opposing you? Why are they opposing you? If they're opposing you to make you better, like, you know, teaching you something, then work with it. Are they opposing you to bring you down and cut you down and things of that nature, then cut them off. The part of the brain that's creative is the right brain. It's like, well, you could be spiritual at all times, but your spirituality is always going to test you and pull you away from mainstream and popular thought, because the idea of mainstream, there is an absence of consciousness. Like, there's like, you know, a person can talk about consciousness all day on their blog or their YouTube channel and things of that nature, but there is no 100% documented evidence that spirits exist, that, you know, ghosts exist, or, you know, ancestors exist and things of that nature. Everything is more about, you know, the almighty dollar, and whoever has the most money wins, because money is a symbol of protection and things of that nature. But it's like, oh yeah, we can talk about spirituality a little bit, we can talk about it or whatever, but it's just like, you're always going to be tested when it comes to mainstream thought and spirituality. So my thing is, you know, fuck the mainstream. I'm gonna deal with my spirituality 100%, and I'm not even going to ask to, you know, I'm not even going to knock on your door. I'm gonna just walk past your door and live my own life. I don't really, I'm like, I'm cool without, you know, somebody patting me on my head saying good job, or hey, here go this check, you know, now do what I want you to do, based upon all this money that I'm giving you. So you can be spiritual in any walk of life, but it's going to be very difficult for you to walk that path of yourself and your soul, and then have to compromise yourself or your soul for money. Yeah, exactly. Make more pie. It's not like there's not enough anything. At least in the moment, you know. Who knows what it'll be like in the future, but as we stand, there's enough food, there's enough resources, there's enough money, there's enough investors. All you have to do is you can literally show an investor how you're going to make money, and they'll give you the money to start your business. The idea, have you worked hard enough in developing a system or an idea or a business plan that shows how you're going to make money. And from that place, there are plenty of investors, there are plenty of seed funds and things of that nature that's willing to help you, but you have to make that initial effort and always be in that initiative to show people, like, look, I'm about to make you some money. I've experienced struggles in tapping into. You have low key vibes. You have to. You have to kind of let go of what's ever holding you back from the idea that you're not creative, because you could just let go and just be free and free form and let the creativity spill out of you. So whatever walls and blocks that you have, I definitely could see you just just like, I don't know, just letting all, like, screaming and shouting and just moving your hands and body, just kind of just letting all of that energy out, because the logic side of you has been suppressing you and holding you down for so much. It's like, I can't even tell you in logical terms how to shake out of that creativeness besides just and just like going crazy. And then from there, that's creative. And you always have access to just going crazy. But, I speak on the heart shaker and how it's important to balance it in order for us to forgive and let go, dealing with others without letting it. So Prince Nakeem, the idea of forgiveness is something that, is very powerful to me in my path, because forgiveness always neutralizes the pain that you have for a past event, and neutralizing that pain in the present moment, it opens you up to successes and things of that nature. Or if you're really going through something, 10 times out of 10 you haven't forgiven yourself from the past, and with that being said, you're still in a past space in the present time, and it doesn't matter what you've accomplished or who love you, who your mama is, or nothing. It doesn't matter. You're literally not in a place of giving yourself or letting yourself off the hook from a past event. And that's why people always, like, I keep dealing with the same type of man, or I can't never check the check week to week. I never can have money, because you haven't particularly forgiven yourself from something in the past. And forgiveness is a tool. It's not an emotional tool. It's a logical, matter-of-fact tool that frees you from the past and allows you to give yourself whatever you want. That, because even in the word is forgive, for being in the future, and give, literally giving yourself something. So you're actually giving yourself something in the future by letting something go in the past. So if you don't forgive yourself actively and daily, you might be holding on to shit. And I don't care, and you could be the wokest nigga in the block. What about when spirituality becomes part of mainstream and then removed? I think that people are waiting and looking at the mainstream and waiting for it to become spiritual, and it's kind of like dangling a carrot in front of your face. If you focus 100% on your spirituality, you won't care about the mainstream, and it is not going to move you or matter, because the reality is that you control your reality. The mainstream wants to creep into your subconscious mind and control it, albeit subtly, but everything is designed in a level to control you. So if you step out of that box and deal with your spirituality, to me, there is no balance. My whole life is created and set up spiritually, and within that, I find myself trying to make my mama happy and still trying to focus in on my soul. It never could have ever worked. I had to immerse myself into spirituality, and wherever it led me, I had to be okay with it. And I'm here today, still speaking that same message. So whether it's right or wrong. I mean, everybody in a neighborhood might have the ingredients, but it might be a different neighborhood. Like, it's like the society within itself is a spell, and the people that accept society as a way of life, there is nothing that your woke ass can tell them because they've accepted this way of life, albeit conscious or unconsciously. They are literally zombies to whatever spell has been put down before them that they've accepted, embodied, and okayed within their being to be a follower of something that is, albeit leading to their destruction and their mortality. But that's what they need to do. There's many people here who have many more lifetimes to go, so it does not matter what your woke ass tell them and what you're trying to do to help them and better them. So enlightenment therefore incites a community that you don't have to fucking preach to. You don't have to fucking convert. You don't have to, prove to them what you're saying is actual and valid, because they're a part of your damn community and your same, soul group, as opposed to dealing with people that's around your own neighborhood. So yeah, like, yeah, you can't serve two gods. You have a soul and you have the world. And if you want the world to accept you and love you, then have fun with that. But whatever. Or you can deal with your soul and true enlightenment and immortality and the truth of why you're here and the truth of your existence and the veils being lifted from all your previous lifetimes and future lifetimes, and understanding your walk and understanding why you're here in totality. Or you could, be the coolest nigga on the block, or have, people be like, you're doing a good job and hand clap you when you go to warm your car up for work in the morning. Like, however you want to play it, it's up to you. Yeah, and the fact that consciousness has always been in the mainstream, but it don't really matter based upon if you're not really open to receive it. I listened to, music like in the 70s that's talking about the pyramids and the Sphinx and Buddhist thought, and incorporating it into the music, and that still didn't stop people from that still didn't stop NWA from becoming a rap group and things of that nature. Like, this information where you talk about the Moors in 1919 and, from 1919 on, and people delivering higher consciousness and, different speakers of the day of the 70s, 50s, 60s. Even the black church was more profound in the earlier days and things of that nature because there was enlightenment in the air. It still never stopped people from being stupid in the future, because you ultimately have a choice, and that choice says, do what's acceptable, or do what's right for your heart, and nobody can tell you what's right for your heart. And all mainstream society is doing is telling you what's right or what's wrong. Oh, that's a bad guy, that's a good person, let's champion him, let's tear him down. It's not a value. Yeah, we're projecting 100%. If you ever think that something is wrong, it's something wrong with you, and there's something more that you could be doing in this moment, and you refuse to do it. So since you refuse to do it, that energy has to go somewhere. So you cast it out on somebody who's doing something bad. Oh, R. Kelly's doing something bad. Let me talk shit about R. Kelly. But R. Kelly was doing bad shit when you was shaking your booty to his music too. And that's a fact. Right. Earth, Wind, and Fire. They've been they've been they've been putting out conscious information for the longest. Parliaments, like low key vibe said, they've been putting out information for the longest. It don't necessarily matter, because it was still people. It's still like it's so the mainstream and consciousness. Yeah, mind you, Deepak Chopra can come on the morning news tomorrow and say everything that I'm saying and more, and some people gonna get it and some people gonna just not get it because it's so multi-layered, and the creative energy versus the competitive mind, and all these different, like, I guess the mind control and the brainwashing is multi-layered. And then the crux of it is duality, where the being is a amorphous. It's man and woman, the original being. But our human brains can't even conceptualize a amorphous being, or a being that did not need another being. And this is like celestial primordial energy that has been forgotten. And there, when it comes back to the surface, is very confusing. But what's coming to the surface is power and connection and unity. And you want unity in the world. You want people to get along, but you have to be unified within yourself. So the message of Vajradaha, or whatever, man. Y'all know my pronunciation. You know I went to public school, so don't judge me. Um, is the energy of Tantra, the unity of your divine feminine and your divine masculine coming together. And from this space, you are actually able to create the energy throughout the world. But people want it in the world, but they don't want it within themselves. They want, wealth externally, but they don't want to develop wealth internally. And these aspects and these jewels and keys are very important. I hope that answered the question. Creative energy is the primordial chaotic energy that can create anything. This creative substance, this dark matter, it is. But are you accessing it? Yeah, it's very ancestral. Earth, Wind, and Fire is very ancestral. Charles Stepney, Stepney. I get really into his music. He produced a lot of different music throughout that time period. And he passed away, but his energy still permeates the planet. And he still has an impact in our world based upon his arrangements and the way that he structured music. And Prince, another energy that structured music and created music from, the celestial sphere. And all of these things are accessible to our, we can listen to it, but the magical, spiritual modality to it is profound, is another level. And all of this is available. So, yeah, part of it is mainstream, but it don't really matter if you're not even looking for it or even care. Indeed, 1000%. So I appreciate everybody for joining me today. Uh, hoodmystic.com is the website. And oh, got another question. Hold on. Do you know any books on how to communicate with spirits and open up your chakras? Um, that first question is actually a book called Spirits. Let me find the author. I think it's not called Spirits, but it's called the Spirits book. Yeah, the Spirits book. Give you the author. He got another book too, Alan Kardec. Alan Kardec, the Spirits book, and he got another book too. That's dope. Oh, the Mediums book and the Spirits book is a good starting off book for developing your spirit and kind of understanding spirits. The Spirits book is like a mixtape of like a whole bunch of different channels. It's like very abstract and very like whatever, but within those conversations within the book is very profound, and you get a real deep understanding of spirits. I read that book back in 2012. I need to relook at that book. The Encyclopedia of Spirits is a good book as well. But Alan Kardec is a good book on working with the spirits, opening up your chakras. I say this all the time, and it sounds like a cheap promotion, but I'm really keeping it 1,000. I really compiled a compendium of working with the chakras on a psychological level. So to work with your chakras and understand your chakras, I would definitely suggest checking out my chakra videos on my page with a pen and paper and really understanding from a psychological level. I work from the root chakra all the way to the crown chakra and really expanding it and understanding it. It's like, you know, up to 10 hours worth of videos, but I searched all over far and wide to compile as much information as I could on chakras and present it in a way that made sense. And I've actually worked through the compendium step from step, and I dealt with a lot of positive results. This channel and the spike in attention and my growth and development and things of that nature, I owe it all to doing the chakra work. So not reading about it or not listening to it, but really doing it and really understanding the different mantras that are associated with each chakra, and doing the mantra work and doing the meditation work and feeling the chakras and realizing what the chakras were. They actually helped me in every realm, shape, form of my life. Being told to want the only already for anyone, you have to truly. Exactly. So if they don't truly want to know all that woke ass shit that you've been doing, all that I want to help people shit that you think you're doing, is gonna go one out of the ear out of the other. I'm gonna start a community woke center where all the little kids can get woke. If they don't want to know, they ain't gonna want to know, and they'll never know. So that's profound, Camille. Thank you. No, I didn't compile videos that I watch elsewhere. I compiled a video based upon books, based upon, you know, other sources, and compiled it based upon that, and then distributed the information. Where chakras, you get a little bit of here, you get a little bit of there, and it make kind of little sense. And then it's like, oh, do I need to get crystals and things of that nature? What food do I need to eat? But I really dealt with the psychological components and what each chakra meant at a deep level, and made it comprehensive. But you can just check out the videos on my page and tell me what you think though too. So is y'all finished or y'all done? Let me know. No problem. Peace. Grand Rising. Can you say, would you say projecting that energy you felt could play out in a good way? Um, it's all good. But the reality is that certain negatives have to be brought to light to bring out certain goods, and the idea is to bring it all unified. So I would have to get a specific example of what you say projecting that energy you felt, because You are to project all energies that you feel at all times. And part of it could be a purging of negative energy, or part of it could be to right the wrongs of society. I don't know. You know, certain people have had to attack other people to protect their family. So I need to know the context. Peace. Peace. You're drawn to Yahweh because Yahweh represents a part of the primordial energy that created the universe. It's not the totality or the whole, but it's a part. And everything created in religion and society is a half truth. The reality of half truths is that there is another half to that truth that is there, but it's not talked about, and it's not really brought to light. And so that other half of the truth is the ancient primordial spirit that nobody ever wants to deal or talk about. So Yahweh, or any type of deity associated with Christianity, Islam, or Judaic thought, is a half truth, and that other half is the primordial, ancestral, chaotic spirit that we all come from. And that's why they never particularly talk about it. But I'm presently working on a video that's dealing with that energy and kind of bring it to light, curating it now. But I can understand why you would be drawn to Yahweh and trying to figure that out. But the idea is to deal with that chaos, or understand that chaos, and not try to submerge it. And as long as you submerge it, as long as you avoid it, that presents a dark night of the soul. The darkness is you stepping away or moving away from your soul, and because your soul represents your light. So embracing your soul and moving towards your light, it evaporates or alleviates that darkness. Reawakening is always evolving. There's like, if you reawaken, like every day you reawaken. So it's holding on to previous traumas and things of that nature, and as they come up, you need to constantly focus on releasing them. And if you hold on to experience, then whether it's good or bad, you block yourself for present experience in the moment. But But it's been an hour. I appreciate everybody's time joining me on the live. I hope I answered your questions as best as I can. Tomorrow we come through Friday to finish up this week and kind of focus back onto where we're going towards this new moon and things of that nature. And you know, moving forward. I like the word woke. The word woke makes me smile on the inside, because 10 years ago nobody was woke. Now everybody woke. So it's beautiful. I love it. Everybody have a great day. Be sure to hit me up. Join me on Slack if you have any further comments, and we'll keep this thing pushing. I'll be sure to add everybody to the notes too. So email me at hoodmystic@gmail.com to get added, and we'll keep this thing moving. Everybody have a wonderful day. Peace.